Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Thursday, August 25th. My name is Joe Steele, and this is Crypto in the House. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Voyager. Looks like Coinbase has now backed out of potentially acquiring the embattled Voyager. Why Tether is not freezing Tornado Cash wallets. Telegram teasing a Web3 play. Plus, where we could see up to 183 housing markets in the United States fall. So I'm going to jump right in with today's crypto and real estate news. First story we're going to jump in is the story about Coinbase backing out of the Voyager purchase. So it looks like now they're saying, according to CoinDesk, we have Binance, we have FTX as players in the hunt to buy. It's like a NFL trade. What teams are in the hunt to acquire whatever quarterback is a free agent. Basically, crypto lender Voyager collapsed into bankruptcy, was a milestone, blah, blah, blah. The industry's biggest players are trying to buy its assets. Now, the lawyers from Voyager had said at least 22 different investors had gone through a due diligence period and indicated interest in buying Voyager's assets. So while we know Binance, FTX are still in, Coinbase is out, still quite a few more suitors, they're calling them, that could be in the mix. Very cool to see, how this will play out, because this is not anywhere near being close to over. Speaking of Coinbase, people had questions like, what is this Coinbase, wrapped staked ETH, CB ETH token? Okay. So they put a blog on their, basically on their help section on their, I'm going to link to it in the description. But basically, they're saying we're allowing Coinbase customers to stake staked ETH to receive an ERC20 utility token called the CB ETH, a liquid representation of their staked ETH. Now that's locked till further protocol upgrade on Ethereum is complete. Like I said yesterday, we're thinking sometime in mid-September. Not as sure yet, but that's the general vibe, right? Is what they're saying out there. So they're giving them the option to sell, transfer, spend, or otherwise use this staked ETH while it remains locked. Holders will be able to move these tokens to a self-custodied wallet and trade them off of Coinbase's platform. Basically, here's a little better of a visual description for you if that helps. But the price will likely deviate of the CB ETH from the ETH because it represents the staked ETH plus all the accrued staking interest starting from when the conversion rate and balance were initialized, which is mid-June, June 16th, 2022. And it is mined exclusively by Coinbase. Again, sold or sent off platform is both possible, while ETH2 will remain locked up until a future protocol upgrade. So, I'll link this in the description so you can kind of see what's going on there. More from CoinDesk, if you're a Telegram user. Their CEO founder, Pavel Durov, discussed that the price of the TON, the Open Network token, increased 15% on the news of his announcements, basically stating that he referenced that wallet domain names on the Open Network. This is something a protocol he developed alongside Telegram, but he left it behind due to regulatory concerns from who else? The U.S. SEC. But proposed that the messaging app could have success in reintroducing elements of Web3 by auctioning off username groups and channel links. So pretty cool. Again, a little bit of a, rally here, 15% on their the Open Network token. But, very cool to see that will happen. From here, we're going to move to Polygon. Their founder, Sandeep Nailwal, raised $50 million, speaking of Web3, for a Web3 fund. Symbolic Capital, his company, has become the latest venture firm to focus heavily on Web3 gaming and NFTs. It's backed by cryptocurrency protocols, exchanges, crypto-focused auditing firms, and other venture capital investors. The company disclosed Thursday. The fund has already invested in 3 blockchain-focused gaming startups: Blinkmoon, Planet Mojo, and Community Gaming. So this initial fund received by these startups was not disclosed, but we do know that he's got $50 million for this Web3 fund. Moving on to Tether. Tether holds firm on decision not to freeze Tornado Cash addresses, awaits law enforcement instruction. So that was on their blog, and they're basically saying, like, look, hey, we're not going to freeze anything. We know USDC did. They put this, section here as well. We would like to know that other digital asset providers, Paxos, haven't frozen Tornado Cash wallets. We believe that if made without instructions from U.S. authorities, the move by USDC to blacklist Tornado Cash smart contracts was premature and might have jeopardized the work of other regulators and law enforcement agencies around the world. So, sort of like I think Rep. Tom Emmer was saying from Minnesota, was this premature? Who knows if Tether's saying like, hey, we're still sticking around with this Tornado Cash until we hear from law enforcement. Maybe USDC was a little, they used the word premature, jumping the gun with them just freezing wallets immediately. From there, we're going to move to real estate. Fortune Magazine. I mentioned this earlier when I started the broadcast. And again, if you like this kind of content, I do half real estate, half cryptocurrency. The stories I feel are the most important each day. And if you like to hear about this kind of stuff, I would suggest, you'd like this video, subscribe to my channel, and we could sort of, as I grow this channel, we will get more of a, to be your source for those two industries, because I definitely feel that they are much more intertwined than we're all thinking at this point. So basically, Fortune Magazine saying there's 183 housing markets could soon see home prices fall 20%. Okay. So they're saying it's pretty straightforward. Mortgage rates are elevated. Housing transactions are sluggish, but home prices are a different story. So you might be more inclined to cut a price if you're a home builder or an investor. Maybe you have, phase 2 complete, but you still have phase 3 and 4, and it's just dirt. And you say, oh my gosh, I have to sell these, plots here to buyers. I'm going to start giving better incentives. I'm going to start throwing in more, whatever I can to entice them to put down their 10% deposit or whatever it might be. They're saying the average Joe seller will resist this and say, well, I'm not going to cut my house price. I'm going to sit on it and wait, because of the emotional element. That's the issue with a lot of people feel with residential real estate. Commercial investors, there's no emotional tie to the property. It's a math game. Does it work, the numbers or not, whatever, right? Whereas residential, you have to fall in love with the house. You have to fall in love with the neighborhood, the backyard, the fireplace, everything, like where you could see your family, everyone in the future around here, the emotional tie. So they're saying the seller hesitancy coupled with the uncertainty surrounding inflation. Obviously, we're going to hear from Jerome Powell tomorrow in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And the broader economy explains why so many forecasters remain split on a trajectory for home prices. So basically, this heat map here, the more purple it gets, the more overvalued they feel that these sections of the country are. The dark blue, we're seeing Southern California. We're seeing some Arizona. We're seeing some Pacific Northwest, purple, some Los Angeles, and then we go into some red. We're seeing, orange, in New Jersey. A lot of Florida is dark purple. So again, just kind of giving, an idea of where, again, according to this data, where we could see some slight price or some up to 20% slight price drops. So they're saying if a housing market has a negative percentage, it means home prices there are lower than expected when factoring in local incomes data for the first quarter of this year. The baseline forecast assumes the U.S. won't enter into a recession. Many people believe we are in a recession, but again, Moody Analytics predicts that U.S. housing prices will fall between 5 and 10%, up from June when they thought it would be less than 5. Now they're predicting up to double digits. Historically speaking, home price declines are rare, but they happen on occasion. Happen in the 80s, happen in the 90s. So maybe not that rare. Only in the Great Depression and Great Recession have we seen price cuts by the magnitude of double digits, right? So we will keep an eye on that, because this is obviously very, very, very important if we now go into this housing recession, as some people are saying we're already in. More kind of not great news for real estate. The firm Compass, who you might realize is in a lot of areas where you live, a lot of locations, they're saying that, this is according to Vice, sort of framing them as more of a WeWork of the residential real estate market, basically raised and spent money like a tech firm, but made money like a brokerage. They're splits with their agents. They kind of take a cut. The agent takes a cut, and the home seller negotiates that with the agent for what they're going to pay the commission, and that's how everyone sort of gets paid. You are signing that purchase agreement, with an agent, but ultimately with a brokerage. So a rival CEO told Bloomberg that, it just doesn't make sense, their whole business model. Encompass has still never made an annual profit, which is very much Silicon Valley. But when the housing market starts to cool down, tech industry came back to earth, the lack of a clear path toward profitability was laid bare. So they are everywhere. So we'll see how this goes with, will they have to start, obviously they're cutting staff, they're cutting cost. Will they have to start shutting down locations, etc. Charlie Bilello, I'm going to end with, put up this tweet earlier today, basically saying the new supply of homes in the U.S. crossed above 10 months in July, its highest level since after the 2008 crash, right? Every time it's been over 10 months in the past, the U.S. has been in a recession. He, like myself, believe we are in a recession. I don't know why they won't say we're in a recession. I know part of that has to do with midterm elections. A part of it has to do with they don't believe we are. It really depends on the person. But this is a chart to show, like, every time in the past, when the numbers look like this, we're in a recession. So whether we are or whether we're not, I thought this was an interesting graphic worth sharing. So with that, I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Again, like this video, subscribe to my channel if you think this is valuable, crypto and real estate, and we will continue doing these every day. I will see you all tomorrow on Friday, and hopefully have some good news from Jerome Powell. And until then, have a great night, and I will see you then.